starving for good water. So he is with a mission of educating the public, educating the common man, how to preserve the water and how to purify the water with appropriate and intermediate technologies adopted and practiced by Mahatma. He is a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, and he is a good father, good friend of my father also, because all of them were born in Kuttanat, the rice bowl of the Kerala previously, Travancore. Now it is not rice bowl. Now Palghat has become the rice bowl of the state. And Kuttanat is very famous for its productivity, its greenery, and lot of rivers and ponds, etc. So he has done a lot of researches. Dr. Panikkar has done a lot of researches in conserving the green economy, and having to get more pure water, pure drinking water with the people's participation. He is not going to the government for the support. He educate them. He organizes outreach programs, yathas, and small meetings, group meetings in the paddy fields, of the Kuttanat area, in other fields of the Kuttanat area. So I are privileged, and we are privileged to have him as a faculty in this webinar that we are focusing on developing green economy in the country. And because developed countries are now making much use of the green economy, and all their policies are focused on creating green jobs and thereby green economy also. And now the government of India also attaches much importance for green economy and deriving green jobs. In this context, we have the best speaker available in having this green economy with a Gandhian concept. That is why we have invited him, and his title is also very relevant to this Gandhian concept of deriving green energy, green economy, and green jobs. I'm welcoming Dr. N. Panikkar to this August session, and Mrs. Panikkar also, because they are the partners to doing both of them are traveling throughout this Travancore area, not only Travancore, the entire Kerala, the rural areas, and doing human services. I'm welcoming both of them to this webinar, sir. And I am inviting, I'm happy to invite all the participants of this webinar also. They are not seen on the screen, but they are also listening, and they are also seeing, watching the webinar in different places of the country. Okay, sir, please start. Panikkar sir, please start.
My sisters and brothers, we are here to explore a new order, a new system of living and action that has been developed, is being developed for a long time. It actually follows the Gandhian Sarvodaya idea. It also has been the same thing that we have inherited from thousands of years. Basically, what it says is Sahajivan Swaraj. That means self-management, self-rule, self-control, self-enlightenment, self-sufficiency at the individual level and all at the various entities that go from the individual to family, to village, to state, to the nation, and the entire world. Vasudhaiva Kudumbagam. This has been a concept that we have inherited, which means that the whole world is a small family. So as in the family, we have a self-managed entity where we are sharing with the members of the family. The sharing and self-management go together. You may think that it is like an oxymoron, Like when I have talked about creativity, I said it's an expected surprise or a disciplined freedom and things like that. Self-management with synergy, Sahajivan Swaraj, is a principle that is natural. It's part of the evolution of human evolution has passed through various things, and we are really getting into a greater uh, order, a better world. And there may be a little problem here and there, but we are advancing. The thing is that things that we could not imagine in the past, we are able to do very easily. Advanced technology has enabled us. Technology has been empowering. Everyone has the right to have the information they want, the skills to develop, and also the rights to live the way they want with freedom, with the kind of satisfaction of local action, with networking. In the local action, which is enabling each individual and entity, we have the ability obtained through the empowerment of technology. At the same time, in the complete networking with all, without exclusion of anybody, in our neighborhood, without caste, creed, or anything like that, all of them. We want to have all of them going together, rising up. And that's exactly the meaning of Sarvodaya, the Gandhian idea that he developed out of reading Ruskin's Unto This Last. The word was developed like that. But the idea has been developed by uh, Mahatma Gandhi and later by Vinoba Bhave and all the other people. Basically, it's a principle of living together and making sure that everybody else go up towards the maximum potential for their growth. And this principle is very easily explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Uddhared atmanatmanam atmanam avasadet atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanaha. It's Dr. Vignesh, can you put the first slide? Full screen, full screen. Oh, I have to put that.
Yes, you have to click on the share screen button at the bottom.
The share. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And the Zoom can go, right? There's no need for that.
Yeah. Now you
But the
have,
share button has.
you have to open the presentation.
Where is it? Oh, open the presentation. Okay, good, very good. Ah, that's great. I had to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea is that this is inherited by the humanity. That means you are in control of yourself. Uddhared atmanatmanam. You yourself have to raise yourself. And you are your own friend and enemy. So basically, the idea of self-management, Swaraj. This Swaraj has been also a very ancient concept. In Chandogya Upanishad, we have Swarashtra. And Tilak has said, Swaraj is my birthright, and I will have it. And Gandhi had talked about Gram Swaraj, village self-governing republics. The idea is that the control has to be at the basic level. No centralized control. So wherever whatever cannot be done at the basic level, it will be done at the next higher level. An individual, the individual cannot do everything alone. There is a family then, and the family cannot do everything that is required. The village is there, and the state is there. At all levels, whatever is left over from what they cannot do themselves will be handled by a higher level, and it goes up to the national level or in the community factions too, the same thing. So the idea is it's now practicable. Because of the advanced technology, it is now possible. So doing everything that you can by yourself. And then living is also an idea that has been there in all the traditions we have. Eat from the sweat of your labor, love
Sir,
thy neighbor. Or in
uh,
Ramzan, the practice of renunciation, and also itifak, where you are trying to make sure that you are fitting with the rest of the world.
Panikar sir,
Yes,
I have a request. So if you
yeah,
could stop your video because seems to be some network connection to your end. Just there is an option at the bottom left, second left, stop video.
stop video.
The go to the zoom control. This second right side from the right, fourth icon. From the right, fourth icon. Zoom. Just click there.
Is it from the right? Is it from the right?
At the bottom, from the trash, fourth.
Below that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Downloads.
Downloads.
That's downloads.
No, no. Next to next.
Next.
Yes.
Okay.
Next one.
Zoom.
Next is
Yeah, yeah,
Zoom.
yeah. Click
Zoom.
there. Yeah, click there.
Okay.
So there will be a control for video. Stop video at the bottom left, second left, bottom
Left.
second left.
Bottom second left.
So just go to Zoom.
Go to Zoom. Okay.
Clicking.
Go to Zoom.
Just click there.
Yeah, I'm clicking. Nothing happens.
No, it has. I think presentation is overlapping. So let me just try if I can do it from the admin panel. Just give me a moment, sir.
Okay. So, the audio is heard, right? Everybody
Yeah.
can hear?
Yes. Now I have stopped your video from here. So now I think audio should be fine. So you can make it the presentation full screen, sir. So as I mentioned, like at the, yeah, slightly come down, slightly move the cursor down. Yes, left side, upper, slightly upper. In the presentation, slightly upper. So there are 4 squares. Yes,
Okay.
that's next to that. Right, right, right.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah,
okay. Here, what do I have
yeah.
to do?
Just press there, sir.
Okay, got it.
Now it will be full screen.
Oh,
Now you can start changing the presentation from there.
okay, okay. So what we are trying to say is that this is nothing new. This has been evolving. This has been inherited. This is the way to go. This is the natural evolution of humanity. So the question is whether it is practicable or not has been always asked. It has not been practicable in many, many occasions in different times. But modern technology has enabled us to do a lot more than what was possible. So it is possible. It's an ideal system where everyone takes care of themselves or himself or herself. And every entity is self-managed and self-governed. The freedom is completely experienced, and the fruits of modern technology are utilized to the best of use. And also it prevents centralized control. We had to assert our freedom. We had to do things so that there will not be a vacuum to be filled from above. And therefore, nothing like this will be bestowed on us by anybody. Whenever there is a chance for self or centralized control, it will take place. But if we have the habit of managing ourselves, that self-management, and taking care of our problems by living together, sharing, and having a harmony. And with that, synergism takes place. That means 1 + 1 is not always 2, but maybe more than 2. That means when you have two or three, two or more identities, groups or people working together, there is a third or even a larger effect there. That's synergism. So we will have natural harmony there. There will not be an internal or external conflicts that will drain away our energy. So all these advantages are there in such a system. And we also can think that when we do self-management, it is not out of ego. It's not I that is there. It is we that's going to be coming forth. So that means you will ensure mental as well as physical health also by that process. So all these advantages are there in this particular system that we are developing. And next slide would be. So we talked about progressive evolution of humanity, many other utopian ideas. I would really very humbly say that it may be considered to be an utopian idea. Sir Thomas More in 1414 came up with this word itself, utopia. And then utopian studies are going on in Ireland and in many other countries. So it is not that bad, although it got a connotation that it is not a practical thing. And there had been dystopian ideas too. Um, the Brave New World, written by uh, Aldous Huxley in 1932, was a particular dystopian idea of a bad society where four different categories of people are controlled by environmental means of technology. So there had been also the 1949 book written by uh, um, George. Um, the book title is 1984. So, where again is it's a dystopian idea. So such things happen. Of course, communism is a utopian idea, and there have been quite a lot of other ideas that has. What we are talking about is a Sarvodaya idea, where it is based on personal freedom and total control at the bottom level, and then any leftover control taken over by the higher, or rather I would not say anything high or low, or an expanding circle of organizations, which are really not very uh, firm organization. Everything is loose. There is no hierarchy anywhere. So such a thing is a Sahajivan Swaraj. This Sahajivan Swaraj idea is a new model for living as well as for management. And self-management is the way everywhere it is coming towards. It's applicable in all spheres of activities, and it is experimented in a few. And when we talk about Swaraj, self-reliant local action with self-sufficiency for all, that means simplicity in life. Only then it is possible. If you are greedy, you cannot have that kind of thing. So if you had simplicity and the least waste in with the most efficient organization, because there will be least waste in motions, and wasted motions will not be there, wasted energy will not be there. It will be optimum and efficient. There will not be any waste in food and material. People will be using only what they need. They will consider everything in a kind of a trusteeship concept. That means whatever I have in my hand is not something that I brought myself. I'm just happen to be a custodian of it. And that's a trusteeship principle that Mahatma Gandhi proposed. And this in life also, we have to always think, I'm not going to take it with me. I have not brought it here. I just happen to have it with me at the moment. I will just enjoy it the best way it should be without wasting anything. Wasting, I don't have any right. Everyone in the world has the world has all the resources that are needed for all people, but not enough for or even a single person's greed, as Mahatma Gandhi said. So there will not be, according to the need of the person, it will be utilized, but there will not be a waste, and that is efficiency, and that is doing things without wasting. That means the simplicity of living, at the same time most enjoyable life. And at the same time, in the attitude also, there has to be a change. We say we don't want to waste any materials or energy or anything like that, but at the same time we don't want to waste our emotions also. So the least waste of emotions and also unnecessary thoughts. So that kind of a mental control is part of that, is also part of that. That is the kind of advancement that we need in the evolution of humanity. That has been our dream for a long time, self-realization and all kinds of things. So it all comes together when we start from the basic concept. I will do whatever I can to the best of my ability and be self-reliant, self under my control, and at the same time sharing with other people and helping others to come along with me. And that will also automatically ensure harmony, and also a synergism will set in the society. So it will be a very prosperous situation. So that's Sahajivan Swaraj. That means a harmony of shared living and all-inclusive networking. That is the most important part of it. The networking, I mean, including everything, inclusive. This is an inclusive growth, and, including the welfare of all the people without any caste, creed, or anything like that, and also nature. So that kind of a system is what we that will be applicable in this.
So can you click on the
Yeah.
this button, presentation button? Then it will be easier for everyone to see. So yes,
Which is this
yes,
one.
yeah, this one.
Oh, okay, good. It's
Yeah.
better. This is better. This is more than enough. So we just talked about the synergistic self-management, the Sahajivan Swaraj, and why it is appropriate at this time is because this is an enlightened era in which everybody is capable of being enlightened. Everybody can be helped to be enlightened because the tools are in our hands, and they are also uh, they are also have the right. They have the recognized rights of the human rights for their own development. And everything in the system, the technology, the government governing system, and the understanding opinion of the people allows this to be the way for the whole this complementary existence. It is actually not based on any charity. Well, helping other people is not out of charity. It is because of our own need to be together as fitting with a complementary existence of the whole. And that's why we call it Aham Brahmasmi. When we say Jnananna Bhavamadu Tonaiga Vernameha, see, I should not ever have Tonunadagi Lakhilam Jnanidanna Vaitonena. That means I don't want to have this ego. I. If at all I have that tendency, let me think that the whole world is myself. That is Aham Brahmasmi. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we are basically guided by such principles. So it uses the full potential of local empowerment. That if you have the total freedom for a person to manifest himself, to blossom out with the whole creativity and freedom, with the freedom and self-governance that is allowed, then the whole society will blossom up from there. It will be, and also the same time, the all-inclusive networking. There are prototypes already in the world. Families, for example, good families have their uh, ways of inculcating self-reliance with a shared living. It's already there. And so to the best of possibilities, all persons do whatever they had to do, and they are self-reliant, self-sufficient to the best possible thing, and then sharing. And that sharing is out of joy. And the same joy of Paraspara Ananda. That means that joy should extend outward also, outward from the family too. So next one, next one.
Just click on the right arrow, sir.
Oh, the right arrow. Okay, good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, we have done some experiments on this one in three different locations, for example, TIRURPUZHA, THETTIAR, and KUTTANAT in Kerala. So we had done we have this local groups who do everything. Basically, our concept is rejuvenation of the environment. For example, the river. The river has the right to live. That means it has the, we have to love the river. We have to allow it to move freely, flow freely, and we should make sure it is not choked with waste and other things. We should use the river more. So the idea is to have groups of people at the river guards joining together without any hierarchical thing, and they take care of that area. And such groups will be there in all along the river. For example, we will with say in Tirurpuzha, for example, that's in Malappuram district. We have Puja Kutams. That means groups of people who would go along. We have 41 Puja Kutams there. So it basically enhancement of human evolution through water management. That's one aspect. See, there's a higher aspect to everything. What I believe is that water management can be used for the enhancement of human evolution. It may be rather far-fetching, but what I believe is that how we control, how we manage our water, that is going to decide everything else about us. So human evolution can be enhanced through water management. So how well we manage the water is going to decide the how well we are going to evolve into a higher or a better state. And the next one is in each of these groups we should be expanding entry into the solar era in all. That is the way to happen. We are entering the solar era. So in all things, in energy, in all the other things, I'll discuss those things. We should depend on the sun. We are already dependent on the sun for everything, directly or indirectly. And so we are aware that we are getting into a solar era. The development and propagation of new techniques in solar energy, natural agriculture, natural living, intrinsic healthcare, and social harmony. So this is the point. When we do everything, it has to be done in accordance with nature. There is a nature in us. There is a nature about us, and there should not be any disjoint in that. We should be doing our energy needs from the nature, and it's possible now. See, it was not possible in the past. Solar energy was so expensive that you could not even think of using that. Now it is now very readily available to us. Natural agriculture, natural farming, where we don't bring anything from outside. All the things that are done in the farm are actually based on the materials that they have. There's no need to bring in chemical fertilizers or insecticides or anything like that. It's already there, and the soil has things in it. There are techniques, there are technologies that will enable us to use what is there in the farm itself. And that is the natural farming we're talking about. Then it is actually happening all over the world in bigger or smaller scale. There are states in India that are totally natural farming. For example, Andhra Pradesh has declared that it is going to be natural farming. And what used to be organic farming, they are also tending towards this more natural way of natural farming. Health is managed by natural living, nature cure, or naturopathy, and all kinds of things that we have heard before. But basically, it's a living style that makes your health um, uh, rather than anything else from outside. So the lifestyle in which you are living in accordance with nature, that is going to prevent diseases as well as in helping to cure disease also. In the COVID, we will explain those things later. Intrinsic healthcare, basically it's based on that. And social harmony is ensured by such a system, and it utilizes the utilization of the river. The resources have to be utilized, so we use the river as much as possible and to make sure the river stays healthy. See, bathing, swimming, boating, with free training for all. So we have trained thousands of people in the Tirurpuzha area for swimming, because basically if they start swimming in the river, that river will stay clean. That's one thing. And less of drowning will take place, because many people drown because they don't know swimming. And also it is a particular joy that we go together and swim together. And that's a kind of harmony that can be trained. That training is part of that. Then we have the full use of the resources at source and prevention of to prevent pollution and production of water waste in all along the watershed. I mean, we make sure that anything that is used, no waste is really left over. That is utilized at source. It is not sent to somebody some other places. So the facilitation of free flow all along the river, because in the case of the river, in Tirupuzha, for example, we have the river flow is blocked at Kuttai Shutter and also at the Murugumat Bund. And so we want to make sure that the river flows, whether it is salty, brackish water or whatever. And that helps the fish population, the farming, and the health of the people, and most important, the groundwater. Many people think that the salty water going along a river is going to affect the well water. No, it is going to affect only in a good way. A flowing water going through the river, whether it is salty or not, is going to provide better water, purer water in the well. It is an experience we have in Tirupuzha area, many places. And so there's no need to contain a salty water river, brackish river, into a freshwater lake. And this kind of thing has to change. We should allow things to happen in the way nature has made it to be. So this has been recognized by a lot of people. Valatol, in his famous poem, uh, he was saying this is a saltwater brackish river, and it is going to reach its natural partner in the ocean. And he also says that വഹിച്ചു കൊള്ളട്ട വിശുദ്ധതോയം for other rivers, let them carry fresh water. But this saltwater river is the best partner for the ocean. So anyway, we have to really appreciate what we have. In Kuttanat area, because of this lack of understanding, we have created a lot of problem. In this particular arrangement, we have also clubs at various educational institutions, colleges, and all that. They will be promoting these things, and then we also have the promotion of ecologically compatible training for job creation in renewable energy, waste management, and natural farming, including tourism along the river. This is exactly where the green economy comes. See, green economy is part of this whole concept. The Sahajivan Swaraj is really the best thing for green economy. That's the way it will naturally, when things are left to nature, things are allowed to happen in a natural way, like the green economy, it will naturally be following this kind of a management idea of Sahajivan Swaraj. Or then the assets that we have, the trees and the mountains and all those things, they will be replenished and also created more by planting trees and things like that. We practice all these things in these kind of groups. uh, Promotion of water storage and wells and wells. The water management, we started the idea with the water management, and I'm ending with the water management. Water is the key here. This is a planet of water, and our body is made more than 2/3 with the water. Everything is water basically, and so we basically manage the water, and that will manage everything. And in this case, in the case of Kuttanat, for example, we are selling that water. There's water everywhere, not a drop to drink. That's the situation there. But they carry bottled water all along, and so much of plastic bottles all along the river, everywhere, so polluted with. And people have also become addicts to bottled water. In one festival in Mankombu, they were giving water all the time. Oh, that's a tradition, water and drinks free everywhere. But the people started claiming, started demanding, we want bottled water. So the habit has become like that. It is an addictive thing. I don't know what they do to make people addicted to bottled water, but there is something like that. That addiction is happening. It's a dangerous thing. So water, we are telling that water you see in front of you is drinkable, and if you purify it. And purification of water is easy. There are so many methods of doing it. It can be done in just keeping it under sun for 2 or 3 hours. That'll be purified water. So there are so many things in Africa. Tests have been done, experiments have been done by the Swiss scientists, and so we know that. Why we had to carry this bottled water? It's a heavy weight people are carrying all the time. There's no need to carry water. So and also collection of water. We'll talk about something like that. Fresh water has to be collected so that it will be available all through the year through infiltration and also through the wells and tanks and things like that. The river will be having some kind of a flow, even if there is no rain. Uh, so this is basically the idea that next one. Where's the next one? Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Some examples are this particular one is TIRURPUZHA origin. That's at Adavanad Hills, and at that point of origin, we want to have collection of water. So, and this is the start of a water collection tank. So, something like that is done in TIRURPUZHA. Let me also just point out a little bit here, previous slide. See, we in TIRURPUZHA, we have Puja Kutams. And in THETTIAR, we have R Kutams. And in KUTTANAT, we have Not Kutams. So that's the idea we are talking about. Then the KUTTANAT area is the huge flood. It's all covered up with flood. And every year it's happening, it's increasing. So something has to be done in the lifestyle, in the way we handle our environment, the way the siltation is taking place, and the way the canals are closed up, and all these things are to be done at the local level. We are in the North Bottom, we try to come up with ideas of preventing floods. And it's amazing that some the progressive ideas are being implemented with the participation of all people. Another important thing is to make sure that the people are instead of using weedicides and things like that, clean up the places and plant things. So here they are planting the medicinal herbs in front of the YMPC library. This is another thing. This is a huge problem in KUTTANAT area. You can see this one. This is the better picture anyway. This is the water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is Iconia crucipus, which is a waste. It prevents people from moving along the river or waterways, and it also prevents the agriculture, so they have to clean it up, and so they are paying a huge price for getting rid of that. Why not use this as a resource? And Alapi HD College Professor Nagendra Prabhu has come up with a lot of ideas for utilizing these Iconia crucipus or the water hyacinth. And here, what you see is that the most dangerous part of it, this bhai from North India is spraying herbicides. This herbicide is, the problem with the herbicides is that you have to spray it again. These plants will come up again. So they have to keep on doing this. And this is a good business for the herbicide manufacturers, the pharmaceutical companies. And but this is very dangerous. And this causes the poisoning from that has killed 70% of the people die when they're poisoned with this one, because the active ingredients is paraquat. So we want to have these collected and utilized for various purposes, briquettes and straw fibers and paints, and many products are made out of this one. And many more can be also developed by these youth, the young people who are in this area under Dr. Nagendra Prabhu. And we are actively pursuing the utilization of pola. We call it pola, kulavaya, or water hyacinth. That collecting them and then processing them and making sure it is utilized to the best of possible use. It's a resource. So it's a resource that is out of place. That's the reason, that's why it's called a waste. It is a weed. And the weed should not be controlled by chemicals like this, which are poisonous and dangerous for the society. And the incidence of cancer in this area is very, very bad. It's a very, very bad situation there. And Kuttanat is really becoming a unlivable place for various reasons like this. So the new generation through the Natakutam are trying to make sure that they collect these, they utilize these as resources and then create jobs out of it. And such effort is really what we need to continue for proceeding in that direction. It is done all over the world. Such arrangements are in London, for example. Such groups are doing things. So it's not a new thing for us, or it's not limited to this place alone. People sharing things. For example, the previous one, somebody was saying, "Oh, take my fridge. I have a fridge. Okay, take it away." They just put out there's a group in this group medium in which they put out this one, and there was another one in front of the house. They had a basket of apple. I have some extra apples, so you keep it, take it away. That kind of thing. So this is a new culture that is developing all over the world. So we make sure that such things are going to keep us healthy. And health management in a corona context offered convincing contrast worldwide for this model's advantage. For example, where in India, we have traditional methods, alternative methods. There are so many different methods that offering alternatives for us to keep ourselves healthy. We utilize all of them: health, yoga, Ayurveda, homeopathy, and household remedies. All these things we are utilizing, and the impact is much, much less in a crowded country like India with 130 million people. So, not 130 million, 130 crores, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, so with this kind of model that allows freedom for the people to use what they want, the way they live, the lifestyle is the most important part of keeping oneself healthy. And in the lifestyle modifications and the lifestyle, they are adapting from the past in the family traditions and all the other things that are handed down to us are allowing self-management. And that self-management prevents the spread of disease. And also, even if there is some symptoms of disease, it is taken care of at home easily without going into pills and hospitals. So it is actually applied not only here, but in Britain also. It's amazing. In Britain also, they do so much of it at home and through self-management rather than through central control. And so many other countries also. But let us look at ourselves. It is a successful model for health management. And that's the most important thing. Our health is our responsibility, and it is based on our lifestyle and the way we handle it. And this is very important for us to make sure that we are happy, because an unhappy person becomes sick very quickly. So the compassion to others, it keeps a person healthy. So when we have this kind of an empathy, the kind of sharing attitude, and also making sure that we don't use extravagantly or live extravagantly, wasting things and then utilizing resources unnecessarily and wasting, but be in a simple life uh, with the concept that we take only what we need and not more than that. We would not waste anything. This wasting is really a cultural tradition that can be brought back. I have a recent example of a small girl coming to our house last week, and her mother, I have been very strict about her. She was, I would say, don't waste any food at all, and that was an important thing. So they would never do that in front of me. And she passed on to this, on that tradition to this girl, and she would never waste at school. She's a very slow eater. At school, the teacher would say, it's time, the bell has rung, so we go back. Oh, what? I haven't finished eating. So why don't you just take it away or throw it away? No, 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 I will not waste food. And this little girl had that built into her by proper inculcation of the value. And the teacher was so happy to see that. So the thing is that it is possible that change can take place in the coming generation very easily, and that way we will have a world that is sustainable. And so, as we talked about previously, natural living and is one area where we can do the self-management. Natural farming is some area where easily we can use self-management. Energy alternatives, the energy from solar energy or biogas or anything, it can be done at home. That's self-managed. At the same time, we live in harmony with others. There is no dependence on anything else. The yoga is a very good example of exercise for mind and body, where self-management is possible and is it can be done so that harmony will be spread around. Swimming is another a sport, for example. Singing, where self-management is much more easily than organized sports. We're talking about decentralized exercises, decentralized entertainment, and so everywhere that kind of we should go away from the centralized control, and so that way that we can build up a new society, a new. So in the emerging trends in education, business and government is also there. For example, I have several friends who do not send their children to school at all. They're properly educated, and it is possible now. It has been possible, and now it is possible very easily because the new education policy, which emphasizes some of these values. So we should make use of it, and it should depend on each person. That's the point. The freedom to choose, the freedom to adapt to the needs of the person, and at the same time ensuring harmony, and then being able to be part of the society, a productive part of the society, and that should be part of the education. Education uh, as have been mentioned before, should really make a person physically, make a person capable of controlling his mind, controlling his body, so that he or she is able to do what he or she wants. It should be the control is so trained, so fine-tuned. The intellect will be so fine-tuned to be a sharp logic machine. That kind of an education is really the real education. And at the end of it, such a person will have only goodwill to other people, compassion to other people, empathy to other people, and at the same time will be fitting with nature. Nothing will be against the nature, will be so part of the nature, will feel himself or herself be part of the nature and will be with the nature. That is the education we should have. In fact, businesses are also very much assisted by this self-management idea. Previously also we had this delegation and all those things, but now people working from their homes, it is much more easily tangible, and there is nobody bossing over, and things are done with self-management, and at the same time in harmony with other people, even though they are not together all the time. But of course that also will be how this is managed in a way. In the government also the same way. Governments previously people, no, they also work from home, some of them, and it was basically a control over the people in a legal way or illegal way through corruption and all that. It's changing. Nothing like that is going to happen if we are cautious, if we are alert about it. And we make use of this opportunity to move into a new world after Corona, into such a thing, and so that we will not have the centralized control. Otherwise, technology can allow also to control everybody. That we see that it is possible. And we should make sure that we should not have the centralized control. And only when we start from below with asserting self-management, uh, and then making sure we are taking care of ourselves. We have no disharmony. Nobody needs to come to protect us. We are taking care of ourselves. So we are sharing things. The neighbors are the best protectors, the security for you. And so we can prevent this total imposed control that is likely to come unless we are guarding our freedom and making sure we practice Swaraj. And this projected catastrophes, as I mentioned, there are so many dystopias, so many different ways people are saying there will be garbage population, all kinds of things like that people are saying because they don't have any job, they need no need for the job because all the things will be done by technology. Australia probably has square kilometers of farmland without any person at all. All of them robotically controlled machines doing the farming and things like that. What for? There's no necessity for something like that. It is likely to happen. If you create your own food as much as possible and you share with other people, there is plenty here. There is no need for Australian food here. So such huge controlled enterprises will not have much of a role to play unless there is a famine here. And we need food very badly, like the PL480 we had once upon a time. Then we will have to depend on things. Now, we will not have that here because if you have a change of lifestyle here and people are growing more food these days anyway, it's a very interesting thing. The agriculture is an area which thrived during the corona area. So corona time. So this is already happening here. So we will continue that kind of an evolutionary process rather than the dystopian evolution that can probably take place here. That progressive human evolution with the best in technology in the new age, empowering all and sustainable forever. That is the kind of dream that we have, and it is a practical thing that we can continue uh, to be part of. We contribute to that. See, this is the best way of a green economy. A green economy can be promoted. This is the best way, and jobs can be created very easily with that. And there is no need for all these migrant labor people going to different cities for their living. And there is no necessity for the human disasters that have taken place, that has been taking place, uprooting people from their roots, families, and things like that. There's no need for that. So the development process should be sustainable forever. See, we should always think: is it sustainable? When we have a development project, we should ask these questions: is it sustainable forever? Is it fair to all? Is it the natural, the environmental assets, are these going to be protected? That's the most important thing. The environment is an asset, it's a capital. We should realize that a tree contributes so much of oxygen that lakhs of rupees are required to buy that oxygen, and people realize that now. So so tree is an asset. It's an asset for the society, making sure that all the rivers and the hills and all these are capital assets, and these capital assets should not be destroyed. And if somebody does that, and we should create more of that. And but already there is a damaged environment everywhere. We should make sure that our focus should be on rejuvenation of them, and that's what we do in this rejuvenation experiments in the rivers like that. It should be done by the people, the local people, all the people themselves, not rather than a government project. See, every time when we have things like that to be done, they say, oh, how much money will be there from the government? Will the government do that? I let the government do that. No, the whole idea of let the government do it or asking the government do it has to be against this self-management principle. Swaraj doesn't take place when we depend on others. We do things like that. Of course, it can be complemented by the government. Of course, shared. So any help that comes from somewhere else, fine, no problem at all. But we take the initiative, and anything else that comes will be fine. The government should be coming with us, or whoever else wants to. There will be so many people do that. The universe is with you. When you are moving in the right direction, the whole world will go with you. That's our Bharagopal knows that. When he has a very good idea, You never imagined that so much of support will come from everywhere. It's a good idea. It will go for everybody will join with you. So the same thing with any initiatives that we make in the in protecting the assets and the creation of environmental assets and considering this as capital. And so anybody who destroys this capital has to be accounted for. The polluter pays. See, the thing is, yeah, if somebody pollutes that person is responsible for making sure that it is taken care of. The liability is accounted for payment. There has to be an accounting of liability. These are all liabilities. When something is destroyed, when the environment is destroyed, when pollution takes place, there is a liability associated with that. Who created the liability? That person is responsible for that. So when assets are destroyed, liability has to be accounted for. And that's where the government is, and the public and the social society also should make sure, no, it's not allowed in our area. We will not do that. So people in the locality, for example, in the river Pura, they used to have the meat parts thrown in sacks from the bridges, and it was a big problem because it will not be usable for the fish because it is all tied up together and is so it becomes so stingy. So it will float like that. And so the Purakutams people, they make sure that nobody does Abhikideva. They started sitting on the river ghats and nobody will be allowed to do that. In fact, they have even forced people to get into the water and pick it up and then take it away. So the thing is that the polluter pays, and it is a liability that when you do this kind of thing for the assets that are common, our common assets cannot be destroyed by certain vested interests. That should be, nobody has a right to affect the living of other people. So it's a natural principle. But somehow people get away with this, and we should make sure that, and the people at the local level should make sure it is prevented. Waste is minimized. No waste at all is the ideal. But if at all there is a waste, it is the minimum, absolute minimum. And then whatever waste you have created, it is going to be converted into a resource at source. At the same place, it will be somehow managed. It will not be thrown away to somebody else to take care of. It will be it will be resource will be it will be used as a resource at source. We use plastic, by the way, but we use more, and we have the same plastic used so many times because some packages come in plastic. And how can you do with that? And of course, if it is not cannot be used anymore, we collect them, and then somebody else will go and take it away and convert into something more useful than what we can do ourselves. But the idea is that these are all resources, and we have no right to make them into waste. So green alternatives such as in farming, as we discussed before, energy, health, and industry also. Green industries. Industries should be tourism industry or various other industries should be green. There should be um, they should not destroy the environment. They should not destroy the assets that are common. They will create um, more of such wealth, more creation of assets in nature, assets of people, assets. So all these will be the industry will be producing. That production would be real production rather than just production for making money. So that kind of industry, and there are so many ways industries can come in that. For example, in Kuttanat, we can have an industry where all these the water hyacinth can be utilized into briquettes and other materials, and it will be a great thing for the entire environment there. And they will also prevent the pollution from the herbicides and pesticides and all kinds of things that are really destroying the health of the people. So Sahajivan Swaraj is a comprehensive model for living and action. It is presented with humility for comments and considerations. This is what I want to have is a discussion that is ensuing now. I want to have suggestions from everybody how we can move forward, because it is not mine. It is really inherited. All of us inherited the same thing. I just put them together and let us move forward with this idea. and that way we will have some impact. Because there is no other way for, in my opinion, there is no other way. It's not a hard and fast ideology or anything like that. It's just a natural thing. Civilizational transformation is needed for our survival. This is the most important. Mahatma Gandhi said 100 years ago that the Western civilization that we have been imposed in this country has destroyed this the natural evolution of this country. And I have seen that the rejuvenation of rivers in this country faced a lot of problem here, lot of problem. It is because of the civilization thing that where people are doing all kinds of things which are based on their Western education and also the Western model of development they had. Based on that, they think that they had to have more and more bigger and bigger buildings and all kinds of things like that. Absolutely not necessary. There's so many flats, so many buildings that are unoccupied. Why do we need all that? So that civilizational transformation is needed for our survival. The green economy and sustainable development forever and for all is possible through it. So let us have some discussion. I'd like to hear from you so that I can myself improve in the presentation as well as in also in the clarification of ideas. So I would end up with a verse from the Rig Veda, the last verse in Rig Veda.
Thank you so
Samani
thank you.
Samanamastu mano yatava susaha. Susaha is the synergy, the word that I borrowed from Vedas. Susaha is synergy. So let us move forward and let us, with the same thinking, same kind of a feeling for others, and by which synergy will take place. We should be together. There's no conflicts within ourselves and with others, sharing with others, with empathy for all. So let us move forward and let's hear more about this from you for discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for putting across this wonderful concept of Sahajivan Swaraj, which I think is one of those good way that you have been practicing it. But I have a personal question on this model, sir, because I have come across, I'm basically from Tamil Nadu, I've come across a lot of illegal or unnatural activities against the nature are going on. But many a times, wherever I have seen such things happen, the people, the local communities are least bothered about such kind of things, and they start living with such kind of environment. So whenever there is some new person comes into question that, the first one who starts questioning is the local community. It's not the person who does it, it's the local community that is questioning it. So how has been your experience in the projects that you have already implemented in 3 places? So may I request you to kindly stop sharing your screen, sir, so that we can see your face.
Yeah, where is the stop
At the,
sharing? Okay, good.
at the
Yeah,
bottom, there is a green color icon.
got it. Okay, Vignesh is there now. Okay,
So
and
now
then
you
should be
can turn on your camera, sir, so that we can see you as well.
where's that?
So
Yeah,
you can see the start video button.
video. Okay, good, very good. Oh, you are so helpful, Vignesh. Dr. Vignesh, I'm very happy that you are here to help because I had unable to start video. Okay, it says unable to start video.
Just give me a moment, sir. I'm just trying to.
You have control, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Now you can do that, sir.
Start my video. Okay.
Start my video.
Yeah, start.
Yes.
Host has asked you to start your video.
Yes.
Start my video.
Yes, we can see you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, here we are. Okay, good. What about the other people? Let's hear.
Yes.
Okay, the question is a very interesting question because I had some very good experience in Coimbatore area. There are some very good friends who are working in this area there, and I had the privilege of associating with them. And this, wherever they had local people taking care of this themselves, it was working all right. And once upon a time, it was mafia, gundas, and all those people who were having a control on on that society. It's not. It is much less here, less there now. So you are right. The local people had to have the 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 will to do it. They had to have the awareness that this is necessary for them. And they are now more and more people are aware of it. In Tamil Nadu, actually, there had been quite a lot of interesting developments in this area at the local level. I had a privilege in many parts of Tamil Nadu to see that such development. And so this is the best opportunity for us to do it, and let's work together on that.
Sure. So participants, kindly, if you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat box so that I can get it across to Dr. Panika. He will be responding to your questions. So there is a question from Mr. Shiva, Shivasharanya, sorry, Miss Shivasharanya. Her question is, how relevant is green economy in the rural context?
Good question. A green economy is most easily practiced in the rural area. Without much strain, it can be done. It's also natural. And basically, green economy means the assets are not destroyed, is consistent with the nature, and it is actually managed by the local people. It is self-managed. It is actually for all. It is sustainable for all. So in the rural context, we have jobs for people there, and if they can have the means to livelihood there itself, they can attract activities that will provide more jobs there. For example, there are so many people who have gone back to the villages during the Corona time from abroad as well as from India. I don't think many people will return. That means those are people, skillful people who are there in the village area. And if you make sure that they don't become agents of manipulation, agents of exploitation because of the previous experience probably, and if they are probably enlightened and they are educated enough in the new way, then they will be a big asset. But the thing is that the exploitative tendencies that are inherited by the Western civilization, as well as by become a habit for us, should be controlled. And that can be done by a lot of people working in the villages uh, along with them. And they are enlightened people. Most of the people are, they can understand things. So if we can really work with them, this is the time for us to work with them to make sure that the green economy is really starting from the green villages. And it's very natural, and it will be sustainable for all, with good health for all. Okay.
Sure. So there is a next question from Mr. Venkat Gonareddy. His question is, what is your opinion about big projects which are being constructed by destroying forest and evicting tribals from their roots? Instead, can we preserve water in each and every habitation and recharge the earth with rainwater through water harvesting?
Exactly. We should be able to do that. We can do it. There's no doubt about it. The answer is yes. But the problem is, some of us are under the illusion that only big projects can really take care of our needs, and it has to be imported from from foreign countries, or from the larger cities, or from outside. We don't have the belief that we are able to live ourselves in a most comfortable, healthy way in our own locations with the resources there. Of course, we can share throughout the world. As we have said, the networking should include all of them, including everywhere in the world. We can have the network if necessary. But the point is that there is no need to have large scale control from outside. And so water is a very good example. As I pointed out, water can be, the thing is that the atmosphere is full of water. When I was in an exhibition in UK once, they said, "You do you like to have some water? Oh, I'll take it from the air." So he was just holding the glass and then putting it in a machine, and then lo and behold, I got a water from the air. So it is possible. Of course, water can be, because the atmosphere is full of moisture. That moisture can be utilized. There is no shortage of water at all. There's plenty of water. And water is, you don't need to look at the seawater or anything like that. And there's plenty of fresh water available. And that can be utilized. Rainwater can be collected to the extent possible. And then we can also reuse the water. Reusing of the water is purifying the water. There is so many different things can be used with the reused water, and also the water that is available in whatever form it is, it can purify it. There is no problem in purifying water. For example, Singapore uses the toilet water. That's part of their drinking water. Lee Kuan Yew decided that they are not going to pay any more to Indonesia for their water, importing out water. We decided that we will have all the sewage water also will be utilized for fresh water. And they are happy with the new water project there. It's a world marvel. All the toilet water is utilized and converted into fresh water. It's so good. It's much better than any other water. Although people were very hesitant in the beginning to drink that water, and he made a rule that even the president will have that water. So he mixed all that, mixed that water with every other water source that is distributed in Singapore. Everybody had to use it. So, but the thing is that is much better water than any other. The toilet water they converted into new water is much better water than any other water. And as I pointed out earlier, there is no need for going through all these things. Just take any water that you see, collect it in a container, and then put a cloth over it, put it under the sun. See, that water will be drinkable water within about 3 or 4 hours of sunlight. Ultraviolet rays really kills off all the harmful germs. So I'm just telling one example. There are so many other ways of purifying water, and those should be utilized. And there should not be a dependence on somebody else's water or water stored somewhere else where they can pollute it, or water stored or brought through pipes where somebody else can get into and then destroy a whole population. So why should you be susceptible to such central instigations and control? Because those are the people who want to control people. And you want to make sure that you are not going to be controlled by such people. You make sure that you are self-reliant. You have your own Sahajivan Swaraj. Okay?
Sure, sir. So there is a next question from Ms. Mamta. Her question is, how does green economy differ from the previous efforts to promote sustainability? What is new in green economy?
Well, development uh, has been just a thing that is natural. See, we are all developing. So forward movement, expanding our development in mathematics is development of a figure. For example, expanding out, blossoming out is development. A flower blossoming out is development. Development of people. Development means growth. So that is part of our onward evolution. It's nothing, we should not have anything against development at all. Development is part of it. And how a country should develop is a question where we should make sure that it is a natural way of developing. It should not be a way in which our assets are destroyed, environmental assets are destroyed. It should not be in a way where the people's freedom is destroyed. It should not be in a way where health of the people are affected. So it should not be in a way where assets of the local people are captured by vested interests and mafias. It should not be a way in which the freedom of living according to their own way is affected. So we can have development, definitely. Development should be there, but that development should not be a centralized development. That's why Mahatma Gandhi said it should be decentralized. And so we, instead of textile mills, he was promoting khadi. And such things were necessary. And he was driving home an idea that the control should be in the hands of the people. Of course, there had to be some basic industries to produce ancillary equipments and things like that, so that such a system can flourish without importing. So that will be there. That will be a common asset again. Gandhiji was saying once upon a time that I am a socialist enough so that all these centrally made things should be under the control of the state rather than in the hands of a few. So why should we have the control of our economy in the hands of a few? So development at each level should be guarded. We should be cautious about it. And it cannot be said by clamoring for it. See, your rights are not bestowed on you. Nobody gives them. You have to take it, grab it, take your rights. So if you think you have a right to live in the way you want, take that and use it, and making sure whatever little problems they have, you are willing to suffer. And that's the basic principle of Gandhian philosophy also. So the willingness to do without is a part of that. The willingness to be simple in your needs, the willingness to share with other people. Those are really necessary when you want to assert your right. And that assertion of right is the most important thing we have to drive home to our children. Nobody is going to give things to you. You have to take it. And that taking is fundamental in your requirement. Whatever is fundamental, you should not give away freedom to live the way you want. Nobody should be allowed to take it away in the name of health management, in the name of disease control or anything like that. Of course, there are some very difficult situations that I'm excluding them for the time being, because you have to learn a lot more about what is happening around us. So I'm not going to talk about that. But the point is that whatever reason they say, your security will be at threat if you don't have accept our control. I will protect you, otherwise you will be destroyed by your neighbors. See, I have good relation with my neighbors, so why should you come and protect me? We should be starting to ask. See, the example I gave about London, see how those people are doing things together and sharing things. And for example, in the corona control, in all these things, they were able to manage things much better with their own freedom rather than with the restrictions from above. So many ways, if you take care of yourself, nobody is going to really to load over you. So that has to be a habit. It has to be inculcated in the children, and we ourselves have to understand that we have to take our rights, and rather than fight for with somebody else or we have no necessity to fight with other people. It's our own right. So it's again given in the Constitution. The human rights are accepted by the United Nations. All these human rights should not be taken away by other people or by people who are supposedly protecting you or asking for it. They are arguing for your rights. No, we don't need anybody else arguing for the human rights. We can take care of it. We take it and then that's it. Nobody is going to bother us if you take it and do it, instead of arguing in the courts for years together for certain rights. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir. Uh, so thanks for the wonderful session, and also for responding to the questions of our participants. Uh, Now I request Balagopalji to propose the vote of thanks. Over to Balagopal sir.
Thank you, good. Vignesh ji, Dr. N.N. Panikkar ji, your presentation was excellent and amazing because I was also learning how these green jobs can be promoted in the villages and not only in the villages, even in the urban areas. Now, the UNDP has developed, not only UNDP, the developed countries have developed the green technology, a green building technology. Now they are using maximum solar power to lighten the homes because that type of technology and and they are using processing wood and recycled wood so that this green economy using that green economy lot of other technologies are homemade technologies are also coming forward and we have to create lot of green jobs and the people that engineers students technical side people engineers, accountants, and other sections of people should also come forward because we need planners, we need managers, we need architects, we need engineers, we need workers, we need all categories of people, of youngsters, because in the startups we have to use these technologies because he was telling about the KUTTANAT water hazards that has to be developed. What they call a startup can take place in developing this and making this a value-added products. These type of startups using the green technology and green economy. I've learned a lot of things from Panikar sir. It was excellent and amazing. I look forward to your continued support and your hand-holding with this mission. Thank you, Panikar sir, and all the participants, especially Dr. Vignesh, for his technical expertise used in conducting the webinars of P.N. Panikar Foundation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Participants, I have final housekeeping announcement. I have just shared the feedback form URL in the feedback chat box. And tomorrow we have a session on green economy and green jobs by Dr. Bashir Ahmed Shadrack. So that's tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So kindly request you to
He's, he's,
register
talk,
yourself.
he's talking from Canada.
Yeah, kindly request you to register yourself. I'm just sharing the registration URL in the chat box, so you can join for tomorrow 11 o'clock, tomorrow morning 11 a.m. Right. So with this,
May, may I put a word of thanks to the wonderful work that Dr. Vignesh has done. And I thank everybody, including Balagopal, for giving me the opportunity to present it. And I see a lot of our people are interested. Let's work together. The contact is given there. Let's work together. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Thank you, Manikar sir. Thank you, Balagopalji. Thanks, madam, for being a great support. And thanks all the participants. If you have any questions, kindly send an email in the email which was given, which is pnpanikarfoundation.webinar@gmail.com. We will be happy to respond to your queries there. I'm just sharing the Panikar Foundation's email. They will be helping you in the certificate generation issue, right? So I'm just entered the email. We are going to end this webinar here. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
And all of the participants will get certificate of participation also.
Yes.
Vignesh, that can be announced.
Yeah, that they can download it. Once they submit the feedback form, they can download the certificate. I think already 30 participants have submitted their feedback and downloaded their certificate. And for people who have problems, just send us an email. We will get back to you.
Thank you all.